So today I would like to share how do one train himself to become a Pontifex. And I think I have a great example of this summer. I participate to the European family gathering for the Rainbow family. And the Rainbow family started in 1971. It was a community gathering of like-minded souls who shared a vision for the new earth, as Eckhart Tolle will describe it. They also like to call themselves the brother, sister, and children of God. And so for the first time, this European gathering happened in Belgium, in the countryside, in the Ardennes, actually 10 kilometers away from the place I grew up, where we had our family property. So I decided to join the experience for a week and get there by bike with my tent and my stuff, not really knowing what I was getting myself into, but with a very deep core and curiosity. So I discover on a large scale, I don't know if it's the future of humanity, but a capacity for communication that goes behind words and through telepathic capacities. And it's a very intense experience, in that sense that especially because I play that role of like coming from a social structure that most of those people in the Rainbow gathering probably lost faith in the possibility that someone coming from my structure could have profound unconditional interest in what they are doing. So in some way I was receiving the projection of that loss of faith that they had. And it was quite intense, because when you have like a couple of hundred people that are able to read into your mind and to know exactly where you are in your in the privacy of your human experience, to a level that they will know all your little secrets. And that happened in a way that a lot of people there have this capacity to read your mind, but that means that they cannot access what isn't in your field of consciousness or of awareness. But as soon as you bring something in the awareness of your mind, they will be able to access it. And if I just now tell you that I know one of your most secret, eventually the next thing you're gonna do is like, oh, but wait, if he knows about that, he will know about this one. And then as soon as you think about this one, you bring it into the awareness of your mind, and then you give me access to it as well. So, and then goes on and on until you're like, take back control on what's happening in your mind, and don't go in those places where you don't want other people to go. So it's quite an intense process, and especially for the egoistic structure, who feel very frightened by it was the first time for me. So when I arrived there, and then when everyone was able to connect to what was going on in my mind. But I see the benefit from it on so many levels. And I would like to bring that example of the food. So the food in the rainbow family is very sacred. And they put a lot of efforts to make sure that the food keeps the highest vibration possible. So to give you an example, when everyone is volunteering, so when you want to go in the kitchen to help, if at one point, and even if that will happen 5 minutes after that you just arrived to start your work in the kitchen, you see your girlfriends going to a yoga session and you want to join them, they will really ask you to leave the kitchen and to go doing what you want to do with your friends. Because the last place we want you to be is in contact with the food while your mind wants to go elsewhere. And no one will ever judge you because they know you're only human, and you know, and if you want to enjoy and have a good time, and just leave, and that's fine, but just don't stay in the kitchen. But it's a beautiful concept because basically for important tasks you wouldn't want someone to be doing something, performing something as preparing the food while their mind is in a different is elsewhere. And you could compare it as a surgeon who's going to do like a heart surgery. You don't want to have that surgeon at the moment is like, you know, fixing your heart, being in his mind and thinking of the argument he had with his girlfriend in the morning, or whatsoever, you know. And that's like to show you a level of presence, and a quality of presence that is probably rarely seen in the differ world, even though it's also happening there. Because I mean, my dad has recently going to like a deeper heart surgery, and his surgeon was actually also an acupuncturist, and so the day before he came and provide him with an acupuncture session to prepare him for the surgery that is going to happen on the next day. So it's already, to me, it's mind-blowing that having a doctor who's committed to that point of helping people in their healing journey, that is not just refraining his perspective on solely on surgery, but opening up to different things, acupuncture, spirituality, psychology, and so on. Because if the heart has any kind of dysfunction, it's most likely that this is only a symptom, a mirror of an inner distortion. And if you don't fix the source, fixing the heart will only be temporary, and it's just a matter of time for the problems to come back. And so it's so inspiring to see that some people are dedicated to bring that level of presence on so many different levels. So here, with this group of the rainbow community, I definitely see the point of, you know, being able to support each other in that journey. And because people won't judge you if you're in the kitchen and you want to do something else, they will just suggest that you go to do something else, because they can feel your energy, they can read your mind, and they know that you want to do yoga with your girlfriend. And so, but if you're not prepared to that level of sharing intimacy and presence, it can feel invasive, or even from one perception disrespectful. You know, why is this person going into my mind? But I also understand that, and especially if you compare now with what's happening with AI, where we are basically building external brains that are going to be able to function as our brains. I mean, I think that for a lot of people now on this planet, OpenAI has more data, or even more all our little secrets that then the rainbow community can access through telepathy. And it's interesting to see that in science fiction in the 1920s, they were imagining that eventually around this period of time, man will grow, and then with a bigger head, because the brain will become so big, because man will become so wise. But that actually didn't really happen like this. The fact is that we are now building this external brain as a computer, and so it's very interesting to see how this whole comes together in a way that we are really at a shifting point of the role of human in the ecosystem, and so if our role is to channel the divine message, intuitions, vision to support the whole universe and as a fractal of it, but to detach from the fact that our character, our personality is actually the creator of those synchronicities, because we get so attached to being special and to our individual stories that we lose sight with the fact that if creation manifests itself through us, eventually it's coming from a higher intelligence, and it's not me, the little me who is so smart and so wise, but actually my individual me working on my egoistic structure. So I detach from those individualistic perspectives to let life use me as a vessel to transmit the message that are needed to support the evolution of the entire ecosystem. So the role of the Pontifex is actually to perform those kind of exploration and follow that curiosity, and to have a bigger vision of what's at play, and so can we bridge the vision of the rainbow community with the so-called default world, and not falling into duality, because what I felt there, it's still very dualistic. And when I explained them that I grew up in Belgium in aristocratic family with a castle, they directly project all their judgment on me and all their lack of faith that this is actually the predicament of their vision is actually happening, and there is an opportunity like ever before to bridge those two walls, because I was definitely seeing that bringing leaders and shareholders to the rainbow gathering will be so beneficial, because there is so much wisdom to learn that we can bring back into the corporate world, so they can benefit from those way of functioning. But on the same time, the lack of leadership, at one point the police came because there was a problem, and the fact that there was no one to speak to the police and no leader to take responsibility for the group was also a big problem for for bridging with the DFO wall. And I understand that systems like governments of police or are like finding this very threatening to have groups like this without a point of contact with who we can reach to when there is eventually a situation to fix. So, and I felt some high resistance to open up to that level And then what it does is that it isolates the initiative in a way that it's losing its potentiality to inspire transformation and evolution on a larger scale. So this is the role of the Pontifex. It's like serving as a building bridge between worlds. Lokah, Samastah, Sukhino, Bhavantu.